Hey guys, I'm Maddie.
Hey guys, I'm Chase.
And today we're going to be talking to you about why we decided to buy a house in medical school. Let's get started.
So first things first, is it even possible to get a house while you're in medical school? I think this seems like an overwhelming task that a lot of people think about when it comes to being a homeowner while in medical school. Like, you don't want to be a homeowner. Like, the misconception is you don't want to be a homeowner and worry about what's going on in your home, where you can just be a renter and have someone else deal with all your problems. From our experience, we live in an apartment right now and we are purchasing a home, and we're going to kind of go through this video about what we think and why we decided to go through it. But first of all, it is possible. So how common is it to own a home in medical school? For the most part, it's not the most common. It's not overwhelming where everyone owns a home, but there are a large number of people who will own a home, especially towards the end of medical school. I feel like the common time to buy is your second year. Some people will end up buying in your third year, but if you're really trying to plan ahead, buying a home before you come to medical school, that's also a great idea.
So we actually looked into getting a house prior to coming to medical school, but we decided that it probably wasn't the best idea because we were coming to a new city that we had never been to before. I think it's a good idea to move to the city, get an apartment, maybe get a 12-month lease. That's where we messed up. We got an 18-month lease and decided 10 months in that we wanted to buy a house. So definitely go with the shorter lease. I think that that's a great idea, especially if you're considering buying a home. And then just get your feet wet in the city itself. See where things are, see where you spend a lot of your time, and then see where rotations are going to be during your third and fourth year, because that's going to be like a job and you don't want to have a 30-minute commute every single morning when you have to be there at 5 a.m. So we waited, and now that we're second years, we've talked to a lot of the upperclassmen and heard that we basically do our rotations at 2 hospitals. So we decided to buy a house that pretty much split the distance, or so we thought. We're actually significantly closer to one of the hospitals than the other, but it's still only a 15-minute commute to one and then like a 4-minute commute to the other.
So going off location, I think choosing an apartment closest to the medical school where you're going to be the first 2 years is really important. So try to find your apartment, or if you're going to live there, find a house that kind of is closer to your medical school. And then once you figure out where your rotations are going to be third and fourth year, if you haven't already bought a house, or if you're trying to find a location, pick somewhere closer to where your rotations are going to be.
That was something that I was really concerned about was, your whole first 2 years you're going to be going to campus all the time. Not us necessarily because of COVID and because we do a lot of online learning, but if your curriculum requires you to go to school every day, definitely get an apartment near your campus for your first 2 years, because you don't want to be commuting 20 minutes every single day for the first 2 years. And then during rotations, you're all over the place. So yes, your location of your house is important, but I don't think it's as important as your first and second year location, especially when you're still trying to figure things out and you're an anxious first year who forgets things and needs to come back home. Living 5 minutes away from our school has saved us on multiple occasions.
Right, and then rolling on to the next point, we decided to go with a single family house. I know that there are, if you read books or if you watch online videos, some people will tell you for your first house, maybe get a multifamily home. And a multifamily home is just a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex. So I'm sure you know what those are. They're just multiple living quarters in one building with separate front doors. We were debating doing that. That's actually what we wanted to do. That was our goal, was to get like a duplex or a triplex.
We made offers on two duplexes.
Yeah, and they both ended up falling through, but that's fine. Luckily, yeah, because we ended up finding like a stellar single family home. But because you can get a multifamily as for your first house, that will pay for your rent and that will help reduce your costs substantially.
If you're willing to take that on. So we thought that we were willing to take that on. I still feel like we could, but just because how the housing market is where we live, the single family homes are significantly nicer for a super cheap price. So we decided to go with a single family home for a super reduced price versus a not so nice multifamily home.
Right, so we'll be super transparent. Our house cost $63,000, about $64,000 to buy a fully renovated house where we live. 3 bedrooms,
2 bathrooms,
with a finished basement, like,
and an attic that has like stairs and carpet.
Right, so this house like is bigger than the apartment we have now, and will be cheaper for the mortgage and utilities than we're paying now.
So going off of that, we pay right now at this apartment $750 for rent itself, and then plus utilities and internet and everything we pay about $900. So in our new house, we're going to pay $450 for the mortgage and all of those fees that go along with that, and then $600 total, including utilities and internet, etc.
Yeah, so that's a lot cheaper, and at the end of the day, our bank account's going to be larger because of that.
We also have a garage and a backyard, and not somebody telling us what we can and cannot do where we live.
Right. We've since we were looking at single or multifamily houses, we kind of read up on all the laws and everything that it would take to be a landlord. And there's a lot of laws that landlords have to follow, and it's kind of interesting because I feel like our landlord hasn't followed them. So like when you know the law and like you know what they're supposed to do, it's really interesting to see that our landlord hasn't followed the law, at least in our opinions. So when you are looking to buy a house, there's different payment plans that you can go with. You can pay cash if you got that. I think that would be the easiest, but obviously not everyone has $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to buy a house. And then there's like conventional loans, and then the loan we went with is a FHA loan. I don't know what FHA stands for, but it's just a government subsidized loan where...
It's for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, so basically our down payment was 3.5% of the cost of the house, whereas like a conventional loan is like 20% down payment for the cost of the house.
We also got a decreased interest rate.
Mm-hmm. Our interest rate is actually like dirt cheap. It's like 2.75%, which is like, compared to my parents' mortgage, that's almost half.
We went to the title company and the lady wouldn't stop talking about how low our interest rate was.
But with FHA, there's more regulations you have to find. You have to find a house that's completely perfect. There can't be any problems with it, like including the paint. Like if the paint's chipping, it won't count as an FHA. So the number of houses that are in your market will go down probably by like 50% because most houses don't follow or fall into that category of pristine.
That was another issue with looking into multifamily homes, was a lot of the houses were finished, but they weren't the nicest or they weren't up to code necessarily, because a lot of things had kind of been pieced together to make it a multifamily home. So it wasn't originally a multifamily home, and so there were strange walls and strange ceilings, just kind of forcing a house to be a multifamily house.
Right, and with an FHA loan, you can get, there's 4 houses you can get. You can get a single family, a duplex, triplex, or quadplex. Any of those fall into the umbrella where you can get an FHA loan. So if you're gonna get a house, especially your first time, an FHA loan is probably the path you wanna go down. Unless, like you said, or I said, unless you can do cash, but most people don't have that luxury.
So our long-term plans with this house is to ideally rent it. If we get residency in the city that we go to school in, we will live there for sure. But if we get residency in another city, we will likely rent to medical students or residents, just because of how close it is to the hospital.
With owning a home, I think from what I've researched is you don't want to own the home for less than 3 or 4 years because you're going to end up making a loss or taking a loss on it. So you want to have the house for at least 4 years, if not longer. The longer you own that house, when you go to sell it, the better odds you have of either breaking even or turning a profit. So the reason we want to rent it is because we're only going to be here if we get residency somewhere else for another 2 years. So we're going to definitely rent it, odds are. And we chose medical students. We're thinking medical students or residents because those are just, more trustworthy students and people who I think will take care of our property.
We'll have a connection with them too, so I feel like they'll be more inclined to take care of our house. One more thing that I wanted to mention was when you think about buying a house, this was something that really resonated with me because I think it was a hard sell for me to decide to buy a house, is that when you're putting money down for your mortgage every month, it's not just going away. You're putting that back into the house that you're working towards owning. So it's like putting it into a savings account essentially. Instead of when you pay your rent at your apartment, you're not getting that money back. That's not an investment at all, and you're basically just lighting it on fire. So yes, if something breaks in your house, you're the one that has to fix it, which is a huge luxury of living in an apartment, is that when something fixes, you just call your landlord and they have to come and fix it like basically immediately. But it is an investment and you're not going to be losing all of that money.
Right. If we decide to stay in the apartment throughout all of medical school, then we're going to end up paying about $38,000 to live in our apartment, which is just like a crazy amount of money. And especially since the house we're buying is $64,000. That's over half the cost of this house. So that $38,000 is, like Maddie said, just being caught on fire and we'll never see it again. But since we're putting it into a house, we're building equity on it, and hopefully in the long run, we still may end up losing money, but it's gonna be a whole lot less than $38,000.
So if you guys have any more questions about buying a house in medical school, definitely leave a comment down below. Don't forget that we have a book on getting into medical school if that's where you're at in the process. So definitely subscribe to our channel and give us a like because it really supports us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.